So Arrow versus TrAce, gonna face check into TrAce, like a TrAce check, an immediate stun there, continual auto attacks coming out from this Doran's Blade AD Anivia. TrAce in a little bit of trouble, there is flash available, there's a skill up of the shield, otherwise TrAce would have died at level 1. I don't exactly know what to think about this AD Anivia, but it is so strong, and Arrow using it to great effectiveness, both this game and in his previous series versus Watch, that he actually wound up winning 2-1. I think he won game number 1 off of an AD Anivia versus an AP Nasus, by the way. So if you guys are excited for what that sounds like, it was actually a pretty good series, so definitely make sure to go back and watch it. Listening to the methodical, melodious sound of what is Anivia auto attacks hitting creeps. And while this will be a very early level, maybe not early level 2, but it will be a level 2 that Arrow hits before TrAce does. We'll keep an eye on things, and at least how the early trades go, as you know, TrAce still level 1, needs to even up that level discrepancy. One more creep to die. Alright, and there we go. Level 2 picked up there for TrAce. And, you know, while Glitter Lances haven't necessarily been landing so far, neither have auto attacks from Arrow. Wave being kept a little bit too close for comfort there underneath his turret to go for anything too crazily aggressive. A lot of attack speed being built up here for both, or maybe not built up for both players, but they definitely do have a lot of it independently. Of course, having a lot of attack speed on Articuno here, aka Anivia, the artist formerly known as. Interesting though to see, you know, quite so much attack speed. I think he actually had 14% in his rune page, just kind of the name of the game being one auto attack after another. Nice shield there from TrAce, continuing to keep TrAce safe from the early damage here by Arrow. And of course it is AD Anivia, and while on Anivia you can build basically anything, it's probably a little bit better to go for more ability power. Of course we'll see how they decide to play things as the game progresses. First, yes, is concerned, much better lead there for Arrow, but that's primarily just off of being in lane for longer. TrAce had to walk all the way back from base, and while he didn't miss all that much, you can see it's very comparable in levels. There is still an almost entire wave of CS advantage here for Arrow. So a little bit more than that actually. He is now 8, almost 9 CS ahead of his Lulu opponent. And while, you know, sure, TrAce is going to be able to teleport back in, back in the lane, double Doran's and sustain is, you know, maybe a little bit stronger than a single Doran's blade, but I'm just not sure that there's going to be very much that TrAce can do here. Anivia does not have Ignite, so it's not going to be able to be used aggressively. You know, TrAce doesn't have Ignite either. So just considering it, exactly what are both players' options. Keep in mind the Cryo Phoenix passive for Arrow. If he dies in that Cryo Phoenix egg, that means that he actually not only, well, dies in real life, but you also have to kill him through the respawn in order for it to count as a kill. Nice Crystallize there, but honestly, at level 5 as Arrow, should he really be skilling Crystallize? You know, maybe he's not necessarily looking to his skills for all that much damage, but at the same time, would be really nice to, you know, be able to do things yourself here. So for at least as far as TrAce is concerned, next 2 days represent, I guess, 2 very big days in his life. So, talking about kind of the mechanics, what is the win condition here for Arrow versus TrAce? It's gonna be either CS for a traditional Anivia. Like, you look at Anivia and you think, okay, well, she's going to, you know, just ult the wave, Use that Blizzard to continue to just wave clear over and over again and win off of CS. But it's a very different, okay, probably not the wall you were looking for there, Arrow. It's a very different strategy for AD Anivia. It was looking for much more just actual champion damage than you would necessarily expect to be the purpose, the method behind the madness for most Anivias. TrAce, though, doing a good job at pushing back in, and even though he's about a wave of CS behind, the Glitter Lance is still landing, and well, wave consider it pushed. Arrow is having a little bit of a difficult time last hitting underneath turret. We'll hit most of them by all accounts. Is still about 9 CS up as the wave resets. You do need a 10 CS advantage to win the game off of just CS alone. I feel like the best champions are ones that will actually have a number of different options as far as like exactly how they want to win the game. Not just, you know, their ability to win the game one way. You want to be able to win it based on what your opposing champion is. If you're playing against something super aggressive, the way you win the game is just not to die. So much pressure in your lane. Usually your team will be able to, you know, pick up overall more gold elsewhere. So just a thought. But as far as Arrow is concerned, he's playing AD Anivia, and you ask yourself, well, Rapid, what on earth is AD Anivia and why is he playing it? The answer is actually, I want to say fairly simple. I got a chance to talk to, I think I interviewed his, he was recently interviewed. And in the interview, he said that not only was he, you know, fairly confident in situations like this, but in the recent, I guess, analyst panel, who was asking, or we asked, you know, which player would come out on top. I think Arrow won that as well, so definitely something to keep an eye on. TrAce specifically, though, has always favored these like very, very heavy push-based champions, and slowly but surely is starting to win this push war right back. So I honestly can't complain too much about the Lulu pick. The Glitter Lance is, you know, may not be quite as effective as, you know, pushers as, you know, things like I want to say not Black Shield, Tormented Soil. But at the same time, look at all this harass that TrAce is putting down onto Arrow's turret specifically. I'm going to keep an eye on Shield coming up, anticipating a little bit of extra damage, but picks can only help you so much. TrAce will back out without the majority of that damage done to his shield. Continual Lulu auto attacks onto this turret, and turret dropping very, very low. Now TrAce is very vulnerable to going down. If this, oh my gosh, he's actually just gonna go for it. He's got a couple of more auto attacks, but using that giant growth there, somewhat premature. It cost a lot of extra mana. Arrow, though, is almost out of mana himself, so timing these backs equally, a minion will advance up the wave and give the information to Arrow that yes, in fact, TrAce is going back. And so now we finally get to see exactly how this matchup is going to play out. Double Doran's Blade, triple Doran's Blades, double Doran's Rings versus the holy quintility of 5 Doran's Rings here for TrAce. Good sweet lord. This will be a game. That's for sure. We'll see if both the AD and the AP here from Arrow can make a difference onto TrAce. Stun to come out. There's some more damage off of the Ice Shard. One more auto attack gonna come down. There's the crit coming down as well. Barrier used. It's gonna be 1, possibly 2 auto attacks away from death, but Arrow out of mana and out of the ability to follow up for the kill. If he gets just enough mana off of these last hits from Doran's Rings and is able to flash in there and pick up the kill, he is going to have to watch out for TrAce's ability to save himself. Not only is he going to have that wild growth up in about 25 seconds, about 20 seconds, Arrow is going, or Arrow at this point starting to get up there in CS. You can see good job by TrAce though to have drawn things all the way back to even. And to be fair, this evenness in CS is after being behind, I believe, almost 9 CS. TrAce just trying to desperately go up there, push the wave, make sure that these minions go in. There's the knockup. TrAce gonna look in a little bit of different trouble here. Will be forced to either flash away. Actually doesn't have flash, has barrier. Where's the last auto attack? He's gonna egg Arrow, but can he finish off the kill? I don't think so. Now there are a lot of creeps there, but after being so low, TrAce is just gonna be forced to run here. Arrow with that Cryo Phoenix egg popped, but still a kill nonetheless. If you kind of a wake-up call to Anivia, you have your passive popped, and that's gonna be all she wrote. Not exactly a super duper amount of flexibility. So closing in on victory conditions for both teams. For Arrow, he needs a grand total of, what is that? Let's see, 8. Carry the 2. He's gonna need about 10 more CS to win the game. Of course, that would be 10 CS over TrAce's CS. So just have to keep that comparative CSing in mind. He is level 9, and of course, with this sort of, you know, blade ring, blade combo that he's got going on here. You know, it's not incredibly surprising. The mobility boots picked up for TrAce, I do not agree with. I think it would have been much better to pick up, I guess maybe Sorcerer's Shoes, but might not have had enough money to go for those. I don't think you sell a Doran's ring to get Sorcerer's Shoes, just in case you don't have enough money. Selling items always pretty bad. It means you lose, like, you know, 10 to 20 CS based on the item that you sell, so probably never a good idea. But at the same time, this is coming down to it here. We're 13 minutes into the game. We're at 103 to 102 CS. The CS is identical, but now all with these minions pushing in. There is the Crystallize, trying to block out these minions just to keep them away from this turret, but we're going to get one minion auto attack off of that wave, and slowly but surely this turret dropping lower and lower. Is this the win condition that TrAce is going to use to 2-0 Arrow and advance out of the group? I don't know about that. It's going to be very difficult, but here we have a whole wave of minions pushing in. TrAce actually going to take a lot of damage. There's the Wild Growth just clicking away on the turret. Going to go for the Whimsy. The last auto attack.